Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So I saw this, and when I tell you I was pissed, and I don't even usually use that kind of terminology, but I was mad when I saw this on the internet. So apparently there's a story going out where there was a young woman, I think she took it to Reddit, and she was married to this young man, and he had a best friend, a male best friend. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he and his male best friend had been going out on trips like every year, taking vacations. But this man had never taken, from what I understand, his own wife on a vacation, but had been going on vacations with his male best friend. Then finally, when she asks to go with them, he decides, okay, fine, and then books them all plane tickets. And I think that this was after he had already booked his and his best friend's plane ticket, had him and his best friend flying first class, had her flying economy. Then when she confronted him about it, he went off on her. And he said that basically, in so many words, she should have been grateful that he was even paying for her to go in the first place, because she don't work and it was his money paying for her ticket to begin with. And she took it so hard, which who wouldn't in that situation, that she was like, you know what, forget it. I'm not going. And of course, after that, he tried to still get her to go. But what's the point even? You know, he's made it very clear that he really did not want her to go, and that he was only just paying so that he could say he paid for her to go. If he really wanted her to go, she would have never had to ask him to take her with him. So I don't blame her for not going with him. Now, I only think he was trying to convince her to go with him after she decided not to, because he didn't want that plane ticket to go to waste, because plane tickets are not cheap. And everybody on Reddit was agreeing with her. I was really happy to see that. Apparently, everybody on Reddit was saying, no, it's not you. It's definitely him. So I watched, there's a comedian named Schuler King. He put out a video about this very same topic, and I watched it. And I don't know if you're familiar with Cynthia G, who's also on YouTube. She made a video also about this. I haven't watched it yet. But they are all, I would say, saying the same thing. Let's keep it 100% real. Schuler King in his video said, you know what? If you want to do what you want to do, fine. But be honest. Don't deceive people. Like, just don't deceive people. You know, like a lot of people say, like, oh, you know, some people in like marriage counseling will ask the question, well, what do you think causes relationships to break up? And people will say, oh, communication issues, money, different stuff like that. But you know what is the killer of relationships? Selfishness. Selfishness in the communication process. Selfishness in the financial area. Selfishness when it comes to respect and love and honor. That is what kills relationships and what screws people over. Like I said, we're going to keep it 100 real in this video. Clearly, that man does not care about his wife. Clearly, he cares about his best friend more than he does his wife. Now, I don't know all the details. Allegedly, these were trips that he was taking, like I said, once a year with his best friend. Now, it wasn't established if these were necessarily like business trips, but still, you don't not take your wife on a vacation. That's a big no-no. But then go everywhere else with everybody else, that's a big no-no. You just don't do stuff like that in a married relationship. And then in the article that you see that's being quoted on the screen, it was saying that she was a housewife, and that was one of the excuses that he threw in her face when she confronted him about why she wasn't in first class with him. Basically him saying, well, like, you don't work, so I paid for it, so what's the problem? First of all, when a woman is married to you, and she's apparently they have kids. So she pushed out how many of his kids? She has kids for you. She's taking care of your house. If she's cooking and cleaning, raising your kids, that's not just your money. That's y'all's money. There's no more I, me, my when it becomes a married relationship. And that right there, again, the selfishness in the financial aspect of the marriage. Him looking at it as, it's all my money. I can do what I want to with it. I can pay for where I want to go, first class to wherever I want to go. And if I don't want that to be my wife, then I don't have to do that. Selfishness and disrespect that she did not deserve to receive from him. And like I said, we're going to keep it 100% real. That is absolutely disgusting and garbage of any person to put somebody else through misery, disrespect, and hell because they're too much of a coward to come out of the closet. Yeah, I said it. Because stuff like this happens all the time. And I get sick of seeing it because it's disgusting. People out here refusing to come out of the closet. They're too much of a coward to just say what they want to do with their lives. So they go out and they get into these heterosexual marriages as a cover up, and then the spouse and the children end up being dragged through the mud, which is exactly what's going to happen with this relationship. If she goes back to him, that sucks for her because she's got to deal with this for the rest of her life or however long their marriage lasts. And then the kids are going to have to see mommy and daddy growing up. Well, clearly something's wrong with daddy and he's treating mom like it's her fault when he just won't be the one to admit that he's the one with the problem and he doesn't want to be honest. Happens all the time. Happens even inside the church. People setting people up, arranging marriages. And I think it was in this article or somewhere else where somebody was reporting a similar incident where a marriage was arranged. Young woman didn't know he was gay. Then he decided he didn't want her anymore and threw her under the bus after having kids with her and then took the kids. And it was so traumatic and hurtful that she became mentally unstable. Like, this is the kind of stuff that happens to these people in these kinds of situations. What happens to these women in these situations. And they wonder why women don't want to be housewives and why women don't want to rely on men and get in relationships with them. Because you got to trust that they're not going to do stuff like this. Throw you under the bus for another man or for another woman. Like I said, it's sick and it's disgusting that people keep doing this and putting people through this. And it's been needed to stop. And even in this article, there were people that were trying to insinuate, well, maybe she was like intruding on like time that he was spending with his friends. Like he deserved to have some time. No, he's had all the time he needed. They said that he was making this a yearly thing with him and his best friend. How you take your best friend that's not sleeping with you, that hasn't had how many of your kids is not taking care of you out on vacations that you haven't even taken your wife out on. And then two, if they're black, this just even more reinforces the stereotype that black men don't value commitment and relationships and respect black women. I said that's if they were black. And I know that not all black men are like that, but it's just sad that like they're giving all of the people on the internet, the media, people who want to tear us down constantly, they're giving them the tools to do it with. They're giving them the content. They're giving them the stories by just being awful people all the time. And like I said, this is something that has been needed to stop. Now, I can't say as a person who's, I'm not married, and I've never been married before. So I can't say that she should just leave him, because if you feel like being housewife is what's for you, then it's what's for you. I'm the type of person where I don't bash what a woman decides to do with her life. She wants to go to the workforce. She deserves to be able to do that. If she decides to be a housewife, she deserves to be able to do that. And if you really think about it, being a housewife is still work. You're just working on the home front instead of the workplace. It's all still work. So whatever a woman decides to do with her life, I'm not the type of person who bashes it. I don't support other people who bash each other. Like, I don't support women bashing each other for whether they decide to stay at home or go to work. Although the only problem with this now is if she decides to leave him, she's going to have to get a job. And then it's going to be a messy divorce. There's going to be problems with, he's going to try and fix it because he doesn't want, there to be a divorce and then have to pay child support and alimony and all this other kind of stuff, especially knowing that he was blatantly in the wrong, So I can't say that she should get a divorce. Although I also wouldn't want her to stay in that, because that's a very toxic and abusive and traumatic situation to stay in. So I'm at the point where it's like, I can't say that she should get a divorce because, like I said, I'm not married and I've never been married. So I don't think that I could give her that kind of advice. Although I am also the type of person, like I said, who does not support people staying in toxic and abusive and traumatic relationships. So if it gets to the point where she knows he's not going to change and this is how he's going to be forever, she's nobody's punching bag. She's nobody's doormat. She should not have to put up with that. And if she feels like the best thing to do for her is to go, like I said, I can't say, what that is or not, but she definitely needs to get a support base and figure out what to do, figure out where to go from here. Because like I said, the last thing anybody would want is for her to go through something like this again, or for things to get worse, But anyways, like I said, this infuriated me. It really did. It infuriated me because there have been so many people whose lives have been ruined because of situations like this. And it's just, it's infuriating and it's disgusting. And it's really sad. Like, it doesn't take anything away to just to be honest. Like I said, I know some people, they just don't want to be, I guess they don't want to be labeled, But that, nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about that at all. What we care about is them not screwing people over. We care more about them doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to a point where if a person feels like them being able to, like I said, keep their cover or whatever, or just be an awful person comes before the hell that they're putting somebody else through, that's when we have an issue. Anyways, if you've seen any of my videos before this video, you know that I always try to be respectful whenever I talk about these subjects. I don't think that people should be attacked on the internet. I don't think that, name calling should be a thing. It's just there are certain subjects and issues that really trigger me. And I'm not just going to not say anything about it. Like, that's the point of me having a YouTube channel. And so, like I said, some issues just trigger me more than others. And I get angry and I have to say what I have to say about it. So I could, and also I could say all of the, make sure you vet people and watch out for people, date them for a certain period of time before you get into the marriage to make sure they're not an awful person. But there have been people who they are professionals at pretending. And then once you get into the committed marriage, they do a 180, so you guys have got to be careful, both men and women. You've got to be careful out there, okay? And like I said, I am an advocate. Like, I am pro faith, okay? Like, I won't say I'm pro Christianity because it's trendy to have an issue with Christianity now, and it's trendy to have an issue with religion. So I'll put it this way: I'm pro Yeshua, pro faith. So you definitely need to have a faith base before you get into any kind of relationship with anybody. Okay, definitely somebody who you can trust, who knows the Lord, who you can go to and consult with. And you need to consult with God first to make sure that the relationship you're stepping into isn't, a prison of misery, and, instead of a relationship. So keep that in mind. Anyways, like I said, I'm gonna get off the soapbox now. My blood pressure has gone up because of this story. I'm gonna stop now before it goes up any higher. Y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comments below.